I'm making this testimony from the UK. I joined Nsppd 2 years ago, but I was off and on up until last year, mid-September. I started to feel very sick, and I was having fever every night. So I had to go to the hospital, and I was given some antibiotics, which I was taking for a while, but it wasn't doing anything. And aside the fever, I started to feel pain in my chest and in my stomach. I had to go back to the hospital, and they said they needed to carry out a scan to see what was going on. The scan was done, and it showed that I had fluid in my stomach and in my lungs. And in order for them to see what was causing that, they scheduled me for a CT scan, which I went in for. The result was to come out 2 weeks after the CT scan. And one fateful morning, I was working from home at the time. I got a call from the consultant in charge of my case. And from the way he was sounding, I just knew that something was wrong. And, he went on to say that the result was out and it showed that I had ovarian cancer. In fact, I was very devastated. I called my siblings. We were just talking about it, and along the line, I spoke with one of my friends who is also on the altar of fire, and I was crying. And she said, "Anita, this is not the time to cry. We are both on the altar of fire, and we've seen cases of where people get healed from cancer and other sickness. So we just need to pray." And so I started to pray. I was doing midnight prayers every other night, and the hospital told me I needed to do a biopsy to see, the extent, and also know, how they can go about the chemotherapy and all that. On the day of the biopsy, which was the 31st of January, it was an early morning hospital appointment. I was preparing to go, and I was listening to 7 a.m. prayers as well. And Pastor Jerry also mentioned ovarian cancer as well.
Ovarian cancer, that's what I hear. I command, be reversed by fire. Be reversed by fire.
And I just keyed into it, and I held on to that word while I went for the appointment. So I did the biopsy, came back home. The result was to come out in 3 weeks' time. I got a call one day from one of the consultants as well, and she told me, "Anita, we've done the biopsy. We can't find any cancer. You don't have any cancer. We don't know. We're so sure, but right now you don't have any cancer." And I was just amazed. I couldn't talk. I was just crying. This testimony is coming a bit late because I wanted to be sure. They scheduled me for another follow-up checkup just to see if there's any other thing. And the result came out. I'm okay. The fluid in my lungs and my stomach, they've all dried up, and I'm just here to return all thanks to God, because I know that this is God's doing in my life. And I also want to thank Pastor Jerry for everything he has done. I also want to thank all the pastors and every other person, in the background making this, 7 a.m. prayer possible.